Hey, what's up, everybody? Guys, welcome again, to Swahili Nation Network and One Africa. It's another beautiful day, that God has given us. We're here, and I want to ask everybody who is joining us right here. You might be watching this right now, so please copy this link and share with somebody out there, because the conversation that we're going to have today is very important for me and for you. We've always been talking about the change, and we want to see change in Africa, and how can we bring about change? How can we have change in action? And the conversation of today, I think, me personally, I'm looking forward to it, because I know that it will inspire me. It will inspire you as well, the one who is watching out there, to do something, for your country, for your nation, for your people, and for this beautiful continent, Africa. So please don't be selfish. Copy this link and share with somebody. And if you're watching this after, this conversation, also don't hesitate to comment, to leave your comments. I'll have a session at the end for you guys to drop in the questions that you have for Benjamin. And yeah, it's going to be a great day. Before I begin, I just want to open up, with a word of prayer. I want to appreciate Mariette, who is joining right here, and DW Kush as well. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this talk. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Yeah, invite somebody out there. It's very, very important. And we always try to keep God at the center of our conversation and what we do. We want to see change in Africa, and we want to see things change. And I know that, we cannot do that with our own strength. We need, we need God to be at the center. So I'm just going to open up with a word of prayer, and then we're going to start our conversation. Oh, God, I thank you for today. I thank you for this moment that you've given us again to have this conversation. As we are talking, God, give us wisdom. Give us knowledge, give us understanding, so that everybody who is watching out there may be inspired, and pushed to do something for the community, to do something for our people, and to transform this beautiful continent. I thank you, and I give you praise. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. Well, anytime I have Benjamin here already. I'm going to bring it in anytime. If you're joining, if it's your first time to join us, remember to subscribe, like, copy this link and share with somebody, so that this word may go out there and you may have an amazing, response. Also, at the end, guys, I'll have a session for you guys to ask questions and everything. So please prepare your question. You have that session to do that. And yeah, I just cannot wait. All right, without wasting time, Benjamin.
Naam.
How are you, my brother?
Good. Mambo vipi? How you doing?
Poor. No, I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Nice.
And I really want to appreciate you for coming here. I know you're really busy, and probably right now you're somewhere running, to do your thing. But I really appreciate for your kindness and your willingness to
Mm.
actually sit down with me and, to talk to me. I really appreciate it. I've been looking
Mm.
up to you for a long time. I've been following up. I've been reading. I've been listening to your
Mm.
interviews. So having this conversation, it's a dream come true. So I really want to
Oh,
appreciate you.
oh, thank you. You're very kind. I appreciate. I actually have a fond appreciation for people who create content, because I used to be a content producer myself. So I have
Oh,
a fond respect for people who spend hours
yeah,
curating and bringing audiences together about things they're passionate
yeah.
about. So I love what you do as well.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Where are you right now, by the way?
I am about to catch a flight, but I'm in San Francisco today. But
Yeah.
I'm going to London, and then going back to the continent right after that. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
beautiful. That's beautiful. So let's start all the way from the beginning. Like, for someone
yeah.
who do not know who is Benjamin Fernandez, because I'm really looking forward to this conversation to inspire our people, and to bring about change. And what you're doing is amazing. So maybe there's someone out there who do not know who is Benjamin Fernandez. Would you mind to give us a little bit of who you are?
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, I would like to say, like, I'm a product of grace. It's still in the process. So my name is Benjamin. I'm from Tanzania, and I took Dar es Salaam, which is home originally for me.
Mm.
When I was 17, I earned a scholarship opportunity that took me to America for the first time,
Mm.
to go there for school. And it was conditional offer. They said if I do well, I could stay. If I didn't do well, I would return home. And so
Yeah.
um, this idea of a probationary period that I had to prove myself was something that really pushed me to work hard and try to make something happen well. But during school, I used to be a bad kid. I think I hold the records for the most in the principal's office in my high school history. I think nobody went to the principal's office more than I did for getting in trouble for
All right.
having bad grades and not doing well. But from the probation period in America, faith is really important for me. And so I used to always pray, and I said, God, I believe I can be the head, not the tail. I can believe I can be first and not last. And I think for me, and at least the way I look at life, is I think there's a very big difference between thinking and actually believing and asking God to help you. Obviously, it requires a lot of discipline. And so I started doing that, and from there, performed really well academically. Ended up graduating top of my class in university. Then was offered scholarship opportunities for further education. But right after uni, I decided to move home. I started working in the TV industry in Tanzania. And so I used to be a TV host in Tanzania, and got involved in payments through television. We were trying to figure out how do you enable people to pay for TV subscription through mobile money. This is like using your M-Pesa account to pay for your TV bill, like on DSTV equivalents or cable TV, etc. So that was my first exposure to payments. I didn't know where that would take me. And then the joke one of my professors used to tell me was, at some point I want you to go to business school, and I want you to go to Stanford and Harvard and nowhere else. And I looked at him. I said, "Look, I don't know anybody in my life who's been to business school at Stanford or Harvard." And he's like, "No, you'll get there." And I remember trying to apply to these schools. I looked at the cost of these schools, and it was really expensive. I said, "There's no chance of getting in." And my dad said, "Even if you get in, no one's going to pay for it." And so I knew that if I got in, I had to, work hard to get a scholarship to allow me to be there. And so they had this full scholarship. They gave eight African students a year. It's called the Africa MBA Scholarship. And so obviously you had to perform well on entrance exams and so on. So I studied really hard. I prayed and I asked God to grant me favor and mercy. And so in December 2014, I remember going home. I picked up my phone, and there was a phone call, and it said, "Hi, is this Benjamin Fernandez?" I said, "Yes, this is Derek Bolton, Director of Admissions. Well, first of all, I want to tell you we've accepted you to the program. And then additionally, we've given you the full scholarship. It's the Africa MBA Fellowship, which will cover tuition and associated expenses for you to attend there." And, at that point, I was like, wow. And so I got to go to America again the second time. And during that time period, I ended up working for the Bill and Melinda in California at Stanford.
When?
This was in 2015.
2015.
Yeah, so I was going there for my MBA, and then in 2016, I ended up working for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in Seattle. So I got a job there. I was looking at payments across multiple African countries, and that's where my passion was, is in the payment space and trying to make a change on the continent. And so, shortly after that, after I finished school, I started NALA, which is, I guess, going to be a source of the conversation for today.
Exactly. So thank you so much for sharing that. But one thing that I want to know, how did NALA idea came to existence? Like how did it come up?
Yeah. I think it was a lot of many different things. I don't believe in ideas, to be honest. I believe in the execution of ideas. So I think ideas are a diamond in a dozen. Everybody has ideas. And I think we live in a world of which is abundant. It's full abundance of ideas globally, right? And so to see many different things happen and being created across the world, I think that's something that is fascinating. But I think ideas don't matter at the end of the day. It's execution and how are we building stuff that creates value for people. I think the most important thing is foundationally falling in love with the problem. And when you fall in love with the problem, you're going to gain unique insights around the problem that you can build solutions around. And I think that's more foundationally important than the idea itself. So with NALA, it was more talking to customers, talking to users, asking them. So I'm sure there's pictures somewhere of the internet where I'm in Dar es Salaam, I'm in different cities around Tanzania, interviewing people. There's pictures on the roadside in Dar, just interviewing people, just asking them for, what are behavioral patterns that they have, what are unique insights they have. And so I think from falling in love with the problem and understanding, these issues, I think that's kind of how we started working on building NALA. And initially we built domestic payments, and then more recently we do international payments from, now today we do international payments from the UK and the United States to 5 African countries: Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Ghana. Next month we'll go live to Nigeria.
You know, you've spoken about something that you love executing ideas, but the issue that we always have, I mean, we have a lot of people with ideas, but we always have a challenge. Like people with a lot of ideas, they always don't have money, most of them.
Yeah.
And people with money, most of the time, they like ideas as well, some of them. So you had an idea, but also you went ahead and executed it. What was the challenges you face, you know, when executing that idea? Because
so many. I mean, every day we face challenges, even today, right? So it's not easy. I have a lot of respect for any founder, especially people who work in tech in Africa. There's a lot of stuff founders go through that maybe most people in the public don't know. You know, challenges with regulation, challenges with complications of many different things, and it really takes you to have a lot of thick skin, because if you were to cry at every down moment, like, you know, it'll be really, really tough. And so regarding ideas and like kind of what, you know, we're building around that, is what we really try to focus on is enabling people to understand the problem. So I'll give you an example. Many people will say that, okay, we don't have like money to build my idea or whatever. Then when I ask them, okay, how much money do you really need to build it out, they'll tell you like maybe a large figure. Let's say they'll tell you like $10,000 or $15,000, and you ask them, okay, can you explain specifically what you're going to be using this money for? And they can't. And that's what happens most often. So I'll give you an example. There was a Kenyan founder I met a few years ago, and he was trying to build an app for like grocery delivery in Kenya. And he came up to me and he's like, look, I need a lot of money to be able to build this. And I was like, well, look, why don't you build everything and do a demo on Google Forms and Google Spreadsheets, because you can collect orders on Google Forms and you can manage orders on Google Spreadsheets. And he's like, oh no. And I was like, try it. And so within 2 months, he built the largest grocery delivery service in Kenya. This is like in 2016, just on Google Spreadsheets and Google Forms. And so Google Spreadsheets is free, Google Forms is free, right? It's just like, how do you manage and optimize your time in order to build something else successfully? And so you didn't need $5,000 to build an app or whatever, but you can manage and like build a baseline service with very little effort. I mean, not very, but like with just being creative about like how you're managing things. And I think that is more valuable, is trying to identify like what's the easiest way to test something out at baseline versus like trying to, you know, build things out formally and like have a big, you know, bang launch or whatever, versus trying to make something simple and keep it as simple and basic as possible. So that's kind of what I really focus on, is cut everything down, make it simple as basic as possible, and like what's the cheapest way to test an idea out without paying anything for it. I'm really cheap with like what we do, and I'd rather like find the best way that you can build something that's efficient and it works. And most people get distracted by the idea of, oh, I want it to be this, but it's not going to be this overnight. It's going to get there over time. But like, you know, let's work backwards. What do you need to do in order to get there?
And how long did it take for, you know, Nada to be where it is right now?
It's not where it is right now. Meaning I want it to be way further along, right? So like everything we've done today, I think is barely 0.5% of where I want us to be, right? And so people like, oh, now let's this, now 0.5%, right? And
0.5%.
Wow. Yeah. So like, I think we've barely got started, right? And so I think where we are at, I mean, for the ambitions and the goals that we have as an organization, we're very far from hitting them, right? And so, yeah, it's cool, but I mean, it takes time. These things don't happen overnight. It's when, you know, when people say like, oh, Nala just popped up yesterday, I'm like, yeah, I've been at it for like 4 to 5 years. You just don't know that, right? And so people, you just heard about it going live in America last week, but you know, we've been working at it for 4.5 to 5 years, right? For that to happen. So it just doesn't happen overnight. And I think those behind the scene things is what most people don't see, and they see like maybe the news article or the announcement or the TED talk or whatever that Benji did or Nala did, and like, oh, look, you know, but they don't know like the amount of
this was the good one.
Yeah, this is the TED talk, exactly. This is in London. Like, I don't get invited to that just overnight, right? I got invited there after 3 years of working at Nala, so many people just see some of the stuff, but it does take a lot of discipline and effort and sacrifice in order to get there.
Yeah, I really want to know this. What is the meaning of the word Nala? Because I have my own meaning.
What's your meaning?
So
What's it meaning?
I went to school to South Korea, and
Yeah.
Nara is South Korean word which means country or nation. That's Nara.
That's cool. That's cool. I love
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't even,
So when I saw it, I was like, did Benji went to to South Korea once upon a time? I felt like it's nation money,
No, but maybe that's what we're building, or we're making 54 countries feel like one in Africa, and so how do we, for Nala, it's derived from Swahili Bantu word that means a beautiful gift. Nala is also slang for nakula, which means I'm eating in Swahili. And then Nala is also the lioness in Lion King. And lionesses actually hunt and provide more from the family than male lions do. And so we want to be a financial provider for people and get them access. And that's behind the name Nala.
Wow, that's incredible. That's a beautiful meaning. Wow, that's great. That's great. I think one thing that I think, I don't know if you face this issue. Here in Swahili, like our main vision or goal is we're actually trying to have one Africa, and not one Africa on the papers, but one Africa like people. Like today, if I decide to go to Kenya, I want to feel home, right? Because we want people basically. If I go to Ethiopia, I want to feel the same thing. And because of the division and everything that we have, we are facing so many difficulties, so many challenges. And I think the platform that you have now, it actually helped to actually connect people. It's a network. It's something that connects people from Tanzania, East Africa, all the way to West Africa, Ghana, because you're there right now. Right. But this is a little bit personal question. Do you face challenges like people when they look at you, they just think like, oh, this guy is not African? I see you introduce all the time that you're an African, you're a Tanzanian, but you face that issue sometimes.
Yeah. Yes, I do. And it's hard. I grew up in Tanzania. My family's been in Tanzania for 4 generations. My background, so people see my last name and see Fernandez. They're like, okay, there's no African called Fernandez. Actually, the Goans were moved to East Africa in the 1800s to build the railway, right? And so my great-grandparents moved in the 1800s, not by choice, but they were forced to move from south of India to East Africa. And, home is, they moved to North Tanzania, which is called Tanga, a small city. And that's where they've lived for 4 generations. And so from my father's from there, my grandma's from there, my grandpa's from there, my great-grandpa's from there. And to not get called Tanzanian because of the color of my skin or my last name I think it's a little bit hurtful sometimes, but it happens all the time. And I see it online. I see people tweet about it. I see people post about it. People call me not Tanzanian. What's really sad is I'm only Tanzanian when I win an award. I'm only Tanzanian when I raise some money. I'm only Tanzanian when Nala does well. But I'm not Tanzanian any other day. I'm not African any other day. And so it is disappointing. It's hard. It's something that I've just had to like grow and like get used to. I go into rooms like people don't call me Tanzanian, people don't call me African unless I do something successful, and that's truthfully what happens to me most of the time. And I think like I remember we did this community event in the UK, and there was like 200 Kenyans, and one guy came up to me after the event, and he's like telling to me, and he says, "You're the first non-racist Indian I've ever met." And I was like, "Wow!" Like I was more like, "Okay, cool," but like he's like, "You're very different from all the other Indians in Kenya and whatever." And so like, of course, I understand like foundationally, like there probably has been some fundamental issues in the way people have treated other people. And I don't agree or support that at all, but it's disappointing that even before I start speaking that, people have that view of me as Benji or as Benjamin versus getting to know me and what I stand for individually or as an organization, right? And so that's truthfully what happens. And I'm glad you brought that question up because I get that all the time. He's like, okay, proudly African, is this dude African, right? And what is African? You know, is the main question. Is it where you were born? Is it your last name? Is it the city? Is it the community that shaped you to being who you are today? Like, these are the questions we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this is one of the reasons why I really wanted to have this conversation with you, because, you know, it's true. Like, I think, you know, okay, in 2022, one of our policies, we say, you know, we have to be brutally honest with ourselves, right? We are fighting for our rights, we're fighting for all these things, but sometimes it's, you know, it's better to look deep inside within and be like, you know what, this and this and that, we are not doing right, and we should find a way to fix it. So even me having, personally, I've been facing this issue. Like, you know, there are people, obviously, people who think that Africans are only black people. Like people who look like me, they're Africans. But, you know, in Africa, we have all kind of race, we have all kind of people. And it was very, like, it really inspired me when I found out about you. And in everywhere, like in every video you spoke, you know, whatever that you wrote, and that thing that you always introduce yourself. And for me, I kind of feel like, you know, I think this is really important to have this conversation, because it's like our people has to understand that, you know, we are all kind of people in Africa. We have white, we have brown, we have, you know, yellow, we have Africans, we have all kind of colors. And it's if you want to have that one Africa, if you want to have love, peace, and unity, then it's very important to acknowledge one another, to look each other beyond our skin color, and you know, whatever it is, it's very important. I think that's where change begins. You know.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think Africa is the most beautiful continent in the world, and I think from our people, from our culture, from the rich history that we have, and I think what I would love to see is Africa shine globally. Like, some of the things I always do is I have WhatsApp groups with like most African tech founders, and I try to help them in ways that I can, and help them fundraise, help them introduce them to people, and do a lot to grow the tech community in Africa. You know, people, I think if you talk to founders on the African tech continent, they'll say it themselves. I don't have to say it, but they'll say some of the work that I've done to try to support the community, and I think that speaks for itself, right? And truly trying to support other African founders to do well, because I know it's not easy, and that's where my heart lies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, my wish is that, you know, you'll not have to, you know, to prove yourself how African you are, because you are an African, you are Tanzanian. And I just hope, and this is what we're fighting for, Benji, for real. Like, it's what we're fighting for. I just came back from Ethiopia, and we're looking forward to go to all African countries to speak to the youth, because the best thing we can do is building the foundation and the system that it will help our kids to live in a safe place, a better place than the place we're living today. So I really appreciate for everything that you're doing. Guys who are joining right now, please, it's a time you can drop in your questions, and I'll be going through your questions one after another one as you continue to have this conversation with my brother right now. So, Benji, so where are you going now? I know you're in Tanzania, you're in Kenya. Oh, by the way, like, so right now, even me personally, I already downloaded Nala application, and
amazing.
There are some people who wanted to send me some money from the US and UK, and they're asking me like, which way can we send to you? And I know that I even asked the Nala customer service, like, oh, how can I do this and that? And right now, as I'm saying, I'm actually using the platform. Like, they'll be sending me, you know, with that app. And so it's like, it's happening at the perfect time, because I was like, I don't want my money to go to any other person than African. I want my money to go through African. So I think this is an opportunity for all diaspora who are watching, because a big audience of our people here are diaspora, that if you want to send your money in the eastern side of Africa, you know, you can use Nara. But I'm wondering, when are we going to be able to send back to the US or UK if I send money, you know?
No, that's a great question. So right now with Nala, you can send from the UK and from the United States to Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Ghana. Next month, we'll add Nigeria as well. And so you can do that. And then for those who are here from the diaspora, please download Nala, check it out, give us feedback. More importantly, test out even sending send Mike $1, send Mike £1. Like give us feedback on what we can do to build a better company and a better service as well. And then over time, so Mike, you touched on something that's really important, is how do you send the other way around? It's something that I'm working on. So we've applied for licenses in a few markets in Africa. It's complicated because the process is difficult, because a lot of African governments love money coming in. They don't like money leaving. And so there's currency controls that you have to follow with each African government. And people have to, see. By the way, Mike, just on the website here, just click on compare today's rates here.
Today's rate. Where is it?
There's a button right under
here?
get. Yeah, click on that. And you'll see that it opens up a new page. They can't see the page. But one thing we try to do at Nala is create transparency for everything we're building. So our roadmap is public. You can see what we're building in real time. We don't really want to have secrets to our customers. We want them to see in reality. Over here, you can compare rates. So we show you the rates compared to us or other companies as well. And so people can see, like on Nala, the recipient does receive more money. And this is what we're trying to build and ingrain with everything that we do at the organization. So even if you look at comparing the rates between us and other companies that send money to Africa, you can see which company you get the best rate on. And even on the days that we aren't the best rate, we will tell you we aren't the best rate because it creates more transparency. And that's what we want to do as an organization, is build trust with our people and people who use us as a service. And so, over time, like, this is something that we Foundation believe in, is like, how do we create trust? How do we create honesty with everything that we're building? And so if you message us even on the Mama Nala chat, the in-app support, you can ask us all these questions and so on. And even back on the website, nala.com, you can see our public roadmap. And if there's those who want to be like early users or early testers of new features, you can definitely just give us a shout, like, hey, I want to be an early access customer, because on the main website, they can get involved through our community. And that's how we are doing things. Also, we are hiring. So on the careers page, there's about maybe 20 to 30 roles we're hiring for. And so if you are interested and you're looking at hiring and helping us grow Nala, you can read all the roles here. If you scroll down there, Mike, there's a list of all the roles that we have that are available. We're growing in the United States, so we're hiring people to build our United States community. We're growing in the UK, and so you can read everything that we're building there with the open role section that's down there, and you can see it's about maybe 30 to 40 new people that we're trying to hire. And so if you have people or have friends you want to refer, please tell them about working at Nala, because we're building a global team. We're an African company with a global team, so wherever you are around the world.
Dang, this is beautiful, guys. There's a job opportunities here. Man, this is great. Like, I'm just having this conversation, and some people might be able to get a job. But guys, you see it. So let me ask you this question: a big, like a huge number of my audience, like number one country that is supporting me here, it's Ethiopia. When is Nala going to Ethiopia?
Wow, that's a great question. We're trying to do Ethiopia. We were actually discussing it this morning with the team. There's a lot of complicated compliance regulation around Ethiopia, but we're going to try to see what we can do. We had a discussion literally this morning about Ethiopia, but it's essentially, like, a lot of governments want to control, like, where the money is coming from, who's sending the money, etc. And so it's difficult, but we have to be compliant to the regulations that are in the place in order for us to service that market. So we're working on it. It's definitely on the roadmap for Ethiopia.
Yeah. Well, Benji, like, whatever you need when it comes to Ethiopia, man, you let me know. That's my country right there. And they've been supporting me from the scratch, and they're number one, by the way, here. And number two, it's US, but also Ethiopians who are living in the US, most of them. And we have UK, we have Canada, like all this place that a lot of Ethiopians are. And there's a huge number of Ethiopian diaspora, even Nigeria. I think that's a great move, because a lot of diaspora from Nigeria. So whenever you're
100%.
doing that,
we're doing Nigeria next month. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I would love your help. I mean, let me tell you something, Mike, that's really hard. Is like some of the companies we're competing against are $1 billion companies, right? They have lots of capital available. They can throw a lot of money at things. And we're on this vision and journey where I know that I want to show that Africans, we can do it too, right? And even better than other people as well. And like that's something that when you use Nala, when people support and spread the word about Nala, it really helps us get there, right? And so if there are people watching, even though you might not be able to use Nala, but you have your friends or relatives abroad, please, like, I would love for that feedback. You know, have them test it out, try out using Nala, give us feedback on, like, you know, what we can improve, what we can do better. And only with their feedback is how we're going to build, you know, a great business for Africans globally, right? It's not without that. And so if there's any feedback people who are watching can tell other people to use and test out Nala, that would mean the world to us, because that really helps us grow.
Exactly. And that's basically, Benjamin, that's why we encourage people right here that, you know, it's a time and we need African platforms. You know, we need like the Facebook version of Africa, you know, like YouTube, like all these different tech companies from Africa, so that we may be able to do, you know, whatever that we want to do without any limits. Because I'll tell you the truth that me personally, I'm facing that with my Twitter, you know, with YouTube. It's a lot of time, you know, being like censored or, you know, being limited to what I share and all those stuff. And it's not something that break the law, but it's just you know, speaking out the truth, you know, and sharing to our people. So I think the initiative that you took, it's really huge. And we have people even here in Swahili Nation One Africa. Like we have one brother. Oh, I hope I invited him here today. He's creating one of an amazing platform, you know, online, something that it will transform, you know, African communications and everything, something beautiful, and another one as well. So maybe, you know, I can connect you guys, because this guy is living in the Canada, and he is our African brother, and he's doing really amazing with that thing that he's creating.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Let me go through some questions here. Someone here is asking, all right, Beltha here says, watching from Columbus. So proud of you, my Tanzanian brothers. Appreciate.
Thanks, Bertha.
Mariette Dan Oden, she says, so when will it be available in EU? She's our supporter and a member from Netherlands. If I'm not mistaken. Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. We actually got our permission to go live in the EU, but that's why we're hiring people. So we're trying to grow our team in order to expand into the EU. We're probably going to start with France, Belgium, Spain, and then probably come to the Netherlands later. So looking at markets where there's a large African diaspora, and then we'll come there. But we do have our permission already to go live in the EU. But again, we're understaffed, so that's why we're trying to hire.
That's beautiful. Okay, Africa Kwanza TV say, very congrats for all of you do to represent us to Z Africa. I wish to know how he's helping young people to initiate their projects, because I believe he has been able to notice them.
Yeah, this is good, and it's also something that's hard for me as well, because like on my public email, I think I have a few hundred public emails a week, just people ask me for advice, right? And so I also have to build knowledge to make knowledge successful. So it's really hard to like respond to every single person. But one of the things I tried to do is we have a speaker series called Build Our Africa speaker series as well. We did season 1 last year, and basically where we invite founders of like, you know, big African tech companies, and I put them on a panel, exactly what Mike's doing here with me. And I interview them, and I ask the audience to ask them questions and so on. And we make it like this opportunity for them to be able to learn about what's going on in the continent and so on. And so that's something that we're trying to do more frequently and more often. And so that is one place where people can participate, because a lot of those founders as well. I think the piece of advice I would tell somebody is the following. Say you're building a healthcare company, right? A health tech company in Africa. The best people to learn from are the people also in your industry, not a fintech founder like me, but like somebody who's also in healthcare and health tech, right? So what I would do if I were you is I'd shortlist all the health tech founders in Africa that I really look up to, and even globally, right? Make an Excel spreadsheet, shortlist all their names, Rachel, Irene, Mike, David, whoever, you know, whatever their names are, and then try to ask them, okay, what can we do to like improve, like try to get on a phone call with them and ask them the following questions. What do you wish you knew when you started? Where do you think the industry is going today? If you do things again, what would you do differently? And ask them for advice. Because from that 30-minute conversation there, or that email you're going to send them, their advice is going to be more useful than a fintech founder like myself, right? Or somebody who operates in your market. And so that's kind of how I'd really look at it, because that 30 minutes phone call will give you 5 years valid of insight. And most people go into those, most people won't even do this, won't even take my advice here, because they're too scared of even emailing them in the first place. But that's where you fail at the beginning, is because if you want to start to be an entrepreneur, you have to be able to put yourself out. You have to be able to take risks. You have to be able to be wrong. And most people are too scared of wrong, right? And so I think that's where things become challenging, is you have to think about things from that perspective, and look at, like, who are the other founders? If Benji doesn't respond to me, who are the other founders I should learn from, because they're in my industry? I do try to respond to as many people as I can, but it's definitely not easy. It's hard, because I think I'm trying to balance it out. But what I try to do more to hone and harness the community is do these community-based efforts and events that we do, like in London, in different cities around the world. We did one in New York with the African community there. We do one for founders in Africa online. It's on YouTube. So if you click on community on the Nala website, you can get involved that way as well.
Well, about that, Benjamin, I can testify. When I was reaching out to Benjamin, I reached out to him like very recently. I think it was just last week. And, I was reaching out to you, and I was thinking that, he's not going to see this message, because I know, like, how many messages you might be receiving. I receive a lot of messages, and, our platform is just growing right now. But, right away, Benjamin, he replied to me, and the conversation is just that smooth. Like, I've been having a lot of conversation here with a lot of people. Some of them, they're not in a position you are, but it has been very complicated and hard. But this one has been very easy to carry on and to do this interview today. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying my best to make sure I get back to people as much as possible, but it's definitely not easy. So if you've ever reached out to me and I've not responded to you, I apologize.
Indeed. Africa Kwanzaa is asking a question again. Say, do you plan to introduce NADA in Caribbean or Latin American countries too? Because African side too in those locations.
Yeah, not yet, not anytime soon there. No, our focus area is where the large diaspora communities are on the continent as well as internationally. So UK, US, Canada, Europe for inbound, and then from African markets, we'll be in 12 countries at the end of the year. Today we serve 5 countries, but we'll be in 12 countries in Africa. Hopefully Ethiopia is one of them that we'll be able to get live before the end of the year.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for that. That's my country right there. Chrissy is asking, say, welcome to SNN. This is our sister, beautiful sister. We're working together here in Swahili Nation. She said, it is not what people think about you, it's how you feel about yourself. Are you a proud African?
100%. I'm very proud African. Yeah, I think most people who know me in like different places always know, as you said, like I always introduce myself as Tanzanian. I always talk about the continent wherever I go, or whatever platforms I'm given. I try to make sure we're doing our continent proud. Yeah.
Right. Sam, another supporter of what we do. Benjamin, what is the most challenging part of being a business person?
That's a great question. Trusting people. That's a hard one. Yeah, I've been even doing business across the continent, in my career. I've been burnt a lot, right? And like even from people who call themselves close friends and so on. And that's been difficult. And especially when you're public facing and consumer facing, you lose anonymity forever, right? And that's hard. That's a big sacrifice that you have to make in that position. And I think that is tough. It's not for everybody. And I think, that's a hard sacrifice you have to make to accomplish a goal and a purpose that's bigger than yourself.
What was the, worst experience you had?
I have so many, and I think it's just, I think dishonesty is really hard. So I always tell people, never lied to me, never surprised me in a negative way, right? Like, and I think when somebody's dishonest about something, I think that becomes really tough. For example, even at the Nala team, I have one rule in the office. I say, if you don't take responsibility, you take orders.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a principle of life. If you don't take responsibility, you take orders. And so if you want to do well, you have to take responsibility about the role you're in. Whether you're at a job, you take responsibility of it, you do it well. Whether, because the moment your boss has to ask you for something, it's too late. It's supposed to be done, And so just make sure that you're on top of it. When I was working, I was getting promoted faster than most of my colleagues, right? But the reason why I was getting promoted was because every time my boss would give us something, I would try to go above and beyond. Like my boss would give me a 2-week deadline, I'd finish it in a week, and then take it to my boss. And my boss was like, okay, so then when we're doing performance reviews, like, okay, this guy is going above and beyond, and I was consistently getting promoted that way. And so like whatever job organization you're part of, I think that's a principle for life. If you don't take responsibility of the functions that you're responsible for, you're going to take orders and be told what to do.
Benj, I really appreciate that. Another question to you, as guys, if you have any questions, you can drop down. I'll be asking Benjamin right here. What would you tell those people who think that, I think Benjamin, he just had an easy road, you know what I'm saying? Like, they look at you and they think that, I think he just had an easy road. To be honest, that's what is really happening out there. They just think, maybe he just got, some support, family support. Oh, maybe this and that.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
Let me flip the coin, right? Let's flip it over. Let's say I was Bill Gates' daughter or son, whatever, and Bill Gates came up to me and gave me $5 million to build a tech company, right? Over 98% of tech companies fail. Okay. So even if you can have all the cash in the world to build a tech company, if you're not building it around a problem, people think it's wrong. It's easy. It's not easy. You really have to, it's a science that is required behind it, that you have to understand consumer problems and build well around it. So there are companies, for example, when I was in Y-Combinator, there are companies that in our first, when we were in Y-Combinator, people were raising $5 or $10 million. 2 years later, those companies have died, right? I'm still alive, right? And so my point there is, even if they have that sort of capital available to them, it takes a unique kind of science and discipline to use it wisely in order to make it efficient and last in a long time and build really well around it. And so I'm flipping the coin to play devil's advocate there to what you're saying is like, even if somebody was Bill Gates' son or daughter, right? It requires a unique set of discipline in order to get to where they are. For example, no matter what family background you come from, becoming top in your school and university is a discipline that only you can influence as an individual, right?
100%.
Obviously, for me, I believe in prayer and faith as well, but like it also is going to take discipline for you to do that. Getting into Stanford or Harvard or all these top universities is going to require discipline where only you can manage, where you have to perform well on entrance exams, do really well when you get there, and in order to get admission or acceptance, right? No matter like, whatever, it doesn't work that way for some of these schools. It's not like, oh, like because your son is this person, you're going to get in. No, it's academic performance based, right? And so the foundation there is discipline. So therefore, even with building a tech company or building any sort of company, there's an idea of discipline that is really foundational and it's required for you to have and work on really well. And that specific example I gave, there are many companies in my same batch from 2019 from Y-Combinator that raised 20, 15, not 100, but 20, 15, like $30 million that have died today, right? They don't exist. And so like, okay, was it easy for them? Probably not. Even though they had that cash, it wasn't easy because remember, as the Bible says, even when the harvest comes, like that's when the work begins. So even if you raise money, the corn isn't going to pick itself up. You still have to build a viable business. And this way, the corn is the viable business that can self-sustain and build itself out in the long run, right? And so foundationally, that is the issue. It's like, how can you focus on, as I said earlier, falling in love with the problem, focusing on what's the most important thing for your customers, and then only doing that and not getting too distracted by many different things, because you can't have the icing on the cake without having the cake.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking about the problem, I mean, that's really inspiring. And speaking about the problem, I watched the speech you did with the TED Talk, and I just want to understand a little bit better. Maybe you can clarify to us today. Most of the time when we see problem, we want to run away from the problem, right? We don't like problem. I don't know if it's the meaning or it's just the word problem, like we don't like it. But you're talking about your approach is you have to fall in love with the problem in order to solve the problem. And can you qualify a little bit more about that statement?
Yeah. Give me a problem. Tell me about a problem. Any problem. It could be simple.
Oh, let's say problem. If I don't have money, that's the problem, right?
Yeah, but what I mean, what are you solving for? So like, money is a reward for solving somebody's problem, right? It's a medium of exchange that's given to you when you solve somebody's problem. Okay, give me like a problem that maybe somebody faces in Kenya.
In Kenya, a problem. Wow. Money. What
anything.
Let's say I don't have a place to start my business. That's what I mean.
Okay. So what type of business? Just give me an example.
Let's say, selling some stuff, like selling some electronics, if it is phones or whatever.
Okay. Let's just start simple. Let's just start with, let's say they're selling coconut, right? So coconuts, right? So if you sell coconuts, just as the coconut itself, you get a certain amount of money. But if you sell the coconut as coconut juice, you get a certain amount of money. If you can sell it as coconut juice in a can, you get a certain amount of money, right? And so obviously you can't get it to the can or the plastic cup until you have enough capital to get there, right? And so my first question is, okay, how much are the coconuts going to cost you? Let's say they each cost $1. Okay. Let's say you borrow $10 from a friend, $2 from 5 friends, you get $10. Okay. Now you go stand because you don't have a shop. What's a high footfall area that people go? A bus stand where people pick up a bus or matatus, right? You go stand there, carrying your 10 coconuts, you sell them each for $1.50. Because it's a hot day, people are going to have a coconut. Okay, they get it for $1.50. You get the extra 50 cents per each coconut right there. You get an extra $5. So you have $15 now to play with. You do the same thing again. You have $30, you have $40, you have $50, you have $100 to get there. Okay, now cool. Now, how do you get into a store? Is there something that you can do with the coconut drink that will make it nice, that people will know, like, okay, this is Mike's coconut drinks. How do you brand it in a way that's valuable? Can you add can you add any of these things, like to make it feel like African or nice, that people know, like, oh, Mike at the Matatu bus stand on this street in Westlands, Nairobi, is the best coconut juice I've had, right? And then how do you get your current customers to tell other people about you? That's the most important thing, is that is free. See, word of mouth is the most powerful way of marketing globally, right? Forever, right? And so when one customer has bought that one coconut, are you taking care of them so the next time they come, they're going to tell their friends to buy it as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you asking them for feedback? And then, and then as your coconut drink becomes popular, then you can start shifting, because maybe that one customer who could afford to buy 5 coconuts can give you $100, to have cups to put the coconuts in, right? And then your value of the coconut juice increases. Instead of it's being $1.50, it's now $3 for the coconut, right? And so then over time, because you don't have a space to rent, maybe your customer has a shop that they're selling from, and you can say, like, hey, can I borrow space at your shop? A tiny space to rent. Or as it gets more popular, you go to a restaurant and say you want to supply them with Mike's coconut drink with coconut juice mixed with cinnamon. So I think every problem is trying to understand what the customer needs. Like, okay, what do they like about your drink? Like, was it the cinnamon? Was it a different flavor? Was it because you package it a certain way? And then when you start to understand, okay, because it's a hot day. There's nobody who's selling a drink at that stand is why they're buying it for you. That's the problem you're solving. Like, they wanted a drink. It's a hot day. You're providing it at that corner stand where nobody else is there, but there's 50 buses that stop there a day. That's what falling in love with the problem is, like understanding from a customer's perspective before even selling the first coconut, going there and asking them like, hey, you just got off the bus. What do you want right now? Do you want ice cream? Do you want coconut? Do you want whatever? And then honing into like what they asked for, and then solving it for them because they'd be willing to pay for it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's a lot of research right there. That's beautiful way you explain. We have to fall in love with the problem to solve in order to solve it. And I really appreciate you explaining that. Somebody here, Andy, is asking that, what kind of business do you recommend for diasporas to invest in Africa?
None. The reason I said that, Andy, is because every business can be a viable business. Okay, every business can be something that, like, okay, cool, like you can invest into anything, right? Like, you can invest into Mike's YouTube channel, Swahili Nation, and say like, okay, I want like us to figure out a strategy for them to like advertise and get money from advertising, or Mike becomes an influencer and like 30% of the influencer margins will go to you because you've invested $10,000 in Mike's Swahili Nation program. There's many different things that you can invest into. There shouldn't just be one thing where like I say, only invest into this because I'm going to be wrong about it. If somebody works in agriculture, invest in agriculture. If somebody works in hospitality, invest in hospitality. If somebody works in like the healthcare industry, invest in the healthcare industry. It doesn't really matter. So that's why I say none, because it's up to you to figure out what you personally care about and how you can personally help them solve or like help them become successful. Right. And so there's many different businesses across the continent you can invest in. Agriculture is huge. 76% of Kenya's population live in rural regions. And similarly with Tanzania, it's 72%. So Ethiopia is a massive place for agriculture globally. So like, how are you going to like, enable that and enable those businesses to function? So I think the reason I say none is because I was more putting it back on you to think about the problems you care about and like who's solving those locally on the continent, and then try to invest and find those people that you can trust.
Yeah, because your focus always is focusing on the problem and how can you solve it instead of focusing on the idea, right?
If it's early stage, it's a founder bet. So it's like, do I trust Irene or Rachel or Mike or David or whoever or Sam or Mariette to build out this business and make it extremely successful, right? When hard times happen, because hard times will happen, will they see it through? Will they be strong and like be able to power through it? Yes or no, right? And if the answer is yes, then really try to push on making stuff happen with them. Like really try to bet on them. I think the big thing is we have to create accountability. And this is something that sometimes we sleep. I'll give you an example that might sound a little bit controversial, but a rule I also have in the office is I will never hire very close friends and I'll never hire family ever to work with me, ever. Like,
why is that?
I have family members who are really smart or whatever. I'll never hire family members ever. Because I think, when you're looking at things, like let's say one day you need to fire your family member, right? You think you can go to the next wedding and sit next to them or have this weird dynamic with them. I'd rather be at peace in my personal life versus have to have these tensions when I'm going to these places, right? Because if you want to be a founder, like you have to have the best team that's going to execute things. And sometimes with family, we take things for granted. Don't worry, Mike, I'll do this tomorrow. And tafanya kesho, like, and that kind of culture and behavior is not healthy for the business in order to succeed. So unless you create those rules that everybody's willing to follow and do really, really well, then it shouldn't happen in my perspective. And again, this is just my opinion. So if you're hiring family members, well, I respect it, but like, this is just my opinion, right? And so similarly with close friends, I'd rather have a very close friend like that I can talk to and catch up after work versus catching up after work and asking him, yo, Mike, did you finish that thing that we were supposed to finish yesterday? Wait, why is it? And I don't even want to hang out with him, right? And so it ruins that friendship dynamic, is what I believe.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. Julius Kai say, how do you continue focus when you're facing a lot of challenges?
It's a process. Julie, you're not going to get the red carpet treatment. You've got to look at the bigger picture. Like, okay, where are you trying to be a year from today? What's the big goal, right? And then how do you work yourself backwards in order to get there? So for example, okay, your big picture is to like, be here. Okay, how do you work yourself backwards in order to get there? And, yes, there's so many distractions. There's so many things that pop up. There's somebody's going to come up and complain that, you did X, Y, and Z, right? And like, there's so many distractions here and there. But I think as a founder, you have to have a lot of thick skin in order to power through those things. And it's not easy. I will say that. It can be very, very stressful. And when I mean it's not easy, most of my close friends I speak to frequently are also founders. They go through a lot. Depression is a real thing that many founders face. And most people don't like to talk about it because everybody expects us to be like 100% all the time. Everybody expects Benji to show up at an event and speak 100%. Everybody expects Benji to be invited to something and be able to like give, ask for advice. But Benji also needs to get advice from other people, right? Benji also needs downtime. Benji also needs to be fed. And so focusing and making sure, for example, for me, one thing I do is I do this thing called Focus Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, I have no meetings at all. No matter who's trying to meet me, no meetings at all on Tuesdays, because then I can just focus on what are the big tasks for the organization that need to get done. And like, how can I like accomplish them on Tuesdays? Even in my office, I only have 2 meetings a week with the whole company. Mondays for 30 minutes and Fridays for 30 minutes. For me, I believe if the meeting is longer than 30 minutes, it's not useful.
Guys, do you hear that? And this is good because I mean a lot of people who are working the company, they actually don't like meetings, you know what I'm saying? Like, so having 30 minutes kind of like, helping the workers as well, because it's otherwise, we're just sitting there and talking.
But it's 30 minutes, but get your stuff done, right? So like, like did we finish? We said we're gonna get this done this week. Why isn't it done? We said we were gonna get it done. What's behind? And then it just creates more accountability for the team because it's like, hey, we said we're gonna finish all these things this week. And cool, if it didn't get done, it's fine. As long as we know like, this didn't get done because we're pulled into doing this, that's okay. That's cool. But as long as there's honesty, transparency, and communication that's establishing that, then it works.
Appreciate it, man. There's a little bit of joke from Sam here. He say, what if you don't get invited to the wedding because you didn't hire them?
That's fine, because they wouldn't have been in the interview process in the first place.
Yeah. Someone here as well, Joseph, is say, dear Ben, it's so great to have you here as a family member. Please keep up joining us. Oh.
Thanks, Joseph. I'm guessing from that name, you're Habesha. Salam no.
Yeah. Have you been to Ethiopia before, by the way?
Not yet. I've been only in transit through Addis, but I had 4 Ethiopian roommates when I used to live in Minnesota. So I had Tibbs, Injera, Kito, like all the Ethiopian food. I love it.
Yes, I love it. It's great. It's great. I hope you're not telling me that because of the time there right now. It's almost 1 hour already.
No, I don't know.
You don't do meetings for longer than 30 minutes, so it's kind of like I came to me here.
No, that's good. It's fine. It's work meetings. Yeah.
There's another question here from you. It says, I usually hear people saying somebody's business minded. Is that superstition or fact?
I don't know what business minded means. I don't even believe in studying business. I believe in studying problems, because when somebody understands problems, they understand business.
Dang, that's deep. That's deep, my brother. Well, I think I wouldn't want to keep you here the whole day long, but I would like to give you a chance. If there's anything else that you wanna share with us and with Africans as well, in the mission, as I think I put here before. This basically is our mission, to defend the image and bring back all the heritage of Africa, decolonize the mind through authentic knowledge, and create a bridge for oneness and a peaceful Africa. This is what keeps us, like awake 24/7. There's a lot of people who are working also behind the scene to try to work on this, and so many different plans that we have. We're going to be doing in the near future. So if you have anything to share, maybe about Nala, or to share about this space, this is the time. And I believe this is not the last time to have conversation. I would really ask you to give me another chance, maybe later, and maybe we can have this conversation again. It will really inspire our people.
Thanks, Mike. So the way I think what I'll tell people, my parting thoughts would be patient. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And when you see somebody maybe even in the same industry like you, or maybe you're trying to grow in, like, let's say the agricultural industry, and you're watching other farmers doing really well and you're not doing really, really well, applaud them, because your time will come. It's be patient. Don't be jealous. Don't be envious when you see somebody else being successful, especially even if they're in the same industry as you are. You stay focused on the problem, fall in love with the problem, fall in love with trying to figure out at baseline incrementally, like, how you can grow, and focus on that, because when you take a step back, it's going to be those small increments that make you make the most progress versus trying to do too many big things at once. So yeah, be patient. There's a story that they say, the last story I'll give you is an African story. So it's a parable that people tell each other. So one day there was an elephant and a dog. They were both friends. The elephant and dog were friends. 6 weeks later, the dog was pregnant, and the dog gave birth to 5 puppies. Okay. And the elephant was also pregnant. So they're both pregnant. The dog and the elephant are both pregnant at the same time. And 6 weeks later, the dog gave birth, and it gave birth to 6 puppies. Another 12 weeks later, the dog gives birth again. It gave birth to 5 puppies. Another 15 weeks later, the dog gave birth again and gave birth to 5 puppies again. And then the dog goes to the elephant and asks the elephant, "Are you sure you were pregnant?" And the elephant says, "Yes, I'm pregnant." And everyone says, "No, like, I've had all these babies, all these little puppies running around, all these dogs that are now in people's families and homes or whatever, And the dog gives birth again. Then the elephant wakes up one day and finally gives birth. It took 18 months later. But when the elephant gave birth, because it took 18 months for that baby to be created in the elephant's body, right? But when the elephant gave birth, it looked at the dog and said, "Look, when I give birth, cars stop to watch. The ground shakes when I give birth. What I'm carrying is bigger than what you're carrying. Therefore, when people move, when people are coming to see me on a safari, they're stopping to take pictures. They're seeing what I'm building. They're seeing everything that I've created. But it took maybe 16 to 18 months for me to get there. And so therefore, the point, what I'm trying to make is, be patient. Your time will come, right? It's not going to happen overnight. Don't get jealous when you see the dog giving birth to 15 puppies or 20 puppies and you have no kids. People start to ask you, "Mika, you've been working on Swahili Nation for 5 years. What are you doing?" But when your time comes for you to explode, people will stop. People will take pictures. People will stare. People will be envious, and that's okay. And so be patient in the game. It's a long one. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Man, amen to that, brother. You don't want me to cry here on the screen, right? You have no, you have no idea how much that story spoke to me. You have no idea, man. You're definitely God sent, and you're definitely gonna be a great dad, because you have a lot of stories. In all of your
Thanks,
speeches, you always give stories. That's beautiful. Wow, man. It's bad that that I'm ending this conversation. But let me ask you this, just a little quick, and then I'll let you go. Yeah,
cool.
that was really good. So the timeline of Nala, until when are you gonna, go through all the countries in Africa, 54 countries? Do you have that timeline?
My goal within the next 5 years is to make sure we're listed on NASDAQ. In New York. I want us to be an African business that is globally and publicly listed on the stock exchange globally. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's already really difficult for us to get there, but that's the ambition that we have, because we want to make sure we're on a mission to empower Africans globally, financially, right? How do we create economic opportunity for Africans globally is the question we ask ourselves every single day. And that's what we really push ourselves towards doing. And so whether in 12 countries, whether in 30 countries, whether in 50 countries, We have some big ambitions. It's not going to be easy, but we want to push ourselves hard to get there.
Yeah. Africa, Nara is coming for you. Are you ready? Before I let you go, do you have any question for me? Because I think it will be a privilege to be asked question.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
What matters to you most in life and why?
Well, including, for me, it's God. It's God because, where I am right now, it's not me. It's everything that has ever happened to me. Even what I'm doing right now, it's something that it happened when I was 5 years old. It started then. And every place I've been, everything I've done, what I'm fighting for right now, it's all because of him, And if you take him out of the picture, you take my mission, you take everything that I do, you actually take me out of the picture. And that's why we keep praying. We have this one policy here. We say, push, basically pray until something happens. That's the meaning of push. And, sometimes we get criticism, because not everybody believe in that. When you have platform like this, you have different people from all backgrounds, but we always try to emphasize that it's not about religion, but it's about having faith and, believing in the creator, in God. So for me, you take him, you take everything out of the picture. And that's the only thing that matters a lot to me.
I love it. I love it. Well, such a pleasure. And then thanks for having me on the show today.
I appreciate Benjamin. Thank you so much for your time and have a safe flight today. I'll see you next time.
Take care.
I appreciate, brother. Love you. See ya. All right, guys. Man, that was Benjamin. Oh my goodness. That conversation, man. Do you guys feel like the way I'm feeling right now? Because, man, like, I appreciate Marriott here, for the super chat as well. So we need this more. So inspiring, man. I feel like I'm a new person right now. Honestly, I feel like I'm a new person. It's my first time to have this conversation with Benjamin, even to talk to him. It's my first time, and I'm really inspired, man. And the story that he shared with us at the end, if you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen the video that I just released yesterday. There's this video I filmed when I was nearby the beach, and I was just talking to myself. It's kind of like 22 minutes. I think it spoke to me because if you watch that video, then you really understand why the story that he shared, it really spoke to me. I think you do understand, not everything is simple. You don't get things easily all the time, but the best thing you can do is wait and be patient. It's the most difficult thing to do. It's the most difficult thing to do because you don't know when it's coming. You don't know. And that's the reason why I filmed that video, because my message, it was to tell my people out there that, I know some of y'all are giving up when we say that we're fighting for the love, peace, and unity for Africa. And you're looking at your country, you see the issues that are going on. You're giving up. You're like, you know what? I don't see the future. Or you see like your leader do something and you're like, I don't see the future. I really feel like we are giving up. And I don't just feel that. I know that because I can see it. I can see that we're giving up, but we cannot give up now. And I don't know, what you're going through or what you're doing or what is happening in your life or in your country. I don't know, man. I don't know. But when you give up, you accept it. You accept it. Whatever that is happening, you accept it and say that, you know what? I don't care. Let people die. I don't care. But we are saving people's life. And we want to see a new day tomorrow. And we are creating a space for the future generation, for our kids and people who are coming, those people who come back to Africa. We are creating a safe place for them to come to live peacefully and to have a life. If we don't do that today, tomorrow we're not going to have what we have today. Where we are today, guys, is because of the sacrifice that were made a long time ago with our ancestors. and where we're going to be tomorrow, or 10 years, 50 years, 100 years from now, it's simply because of the sacrifice that we are going to make today, the investment that we're going to make today. The things like what Benjamin is doing. Guys, there's an opportunity for job. If you're looking for job, Nala is hiring. You know, these are very exciting things. You know what I'm saying? We want our people to have a job, to have a work. You know, they're in the UK, they're in the USA as well. And it's a good news, guys, because right now, man, if you guys have a tip, if you have something that you want to bless me, guys, you can use Nala. Nala is the platform. You can use it, because whatever the money that is going to be taken away, it's going to go to Africa, man. Born in Africa, built for you. You can use Nada. I already have my application right here, Nada. So if you're living in the US, if you're living in the UK, you can actually use this to send money to, right now they're in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, and Ghana, I believe. Yeah, here. Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, and Rwanda. Oh, they are not in Burundi yet. But next month, they're going to be in Nigeria. And as you guys have seen, I was asking him question, when are you going to go to Ethiopia and other African countries? So Ethiopia, it just happened that today in the meeting, they were talking about Ethiopia. It's crazy. It's insane, right? It's not insane. It's a blessing. So it's amazing. You know, I don't know what to say, man. I'm just getting emotional a little bit right now. But I'm not gonna cry. But man, this is amazing. I'm just so inspired, you know, for this conversation. And I know there's a lot of creators out there watching this, a lot of innovators and entrepreneurs. And I really hope this conversation inspired you. And if you're not here on time, you can go back and watch this conversation. It's very, 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 very important for our people. This is an African man, a Tanzanian man, who is doing amazing for the country, for the continent, and for our people. We can actually make difference, because this guy, he saw the issue, the problem, and it's true. I mean, I'm here. I mean, in Tanzania, like M-Pesa and all these other, you know, the money platform, man, there's so much money they're taking away, so much money. I don't even use it anymore. I would rather go to the bank and use bank right now to send money to somebody or take money out rather than using this different platform. But we have Nada now, and you guys have seen the website. You have seen the exchange rate right now, how it is. It's beautiful. So instead of using all these, you know, international whatever platforms that they actually get a lot of money out of us, you can actually use this and support an African company and support the move that people are doing out there. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Benjamin once again, down to earth guy. I didn't expect that I'm going to have this conversation with him today. Even when I was reaching out, I was like, you know what? The best thing I can do is just to reach out. And that's what I do, guys. Every single suggestion that you guys give it to me, because you have a lot of people that you connect me with. I always reach out to them. So if you know anyone who is doing amazing things, someone who can come here and inspire our people, you can always connect them with me. I'll reach out to them. And with all saying that, tomorrow at 7 p.m., okay, tomorrow at 9 p.m., we're going to have our sister Tanzania will be here talking about African traditions. So you can join us. But before that, at 7 p.m., I'll also have another exclusive conversation with another amazing guy, really incredible guy. I was supposed to have an interview with him, a couple days ago. But because of time differences, we're not able to do that. And let me just say this for this. I want to appreciate Yonatan. Yonatan, he actually showed me that this event is happening in Rwanda a couple days later from now. And he said, hey, Mika, why don't you find an opportunity to talk to this guy? And I found his email. I reached out to him. He is an incredible man. He is an amazing guy. And he's an African. And he's doing incredible work for the continent, for his country, to bring Africans together. And they're going to have an amazing conference here in Rwanda soon, very soon, I think in June. And I hope, I'll go there maybe to see what's going on and maybe cover a little bit. But this man right here, if you have time It's another time to be inspired tomorrow at 7 p.m. Let me read a little bit of his biography so that you may understand like who I'm going to bring, because maybe you don't know this guy. But as an event organizer, artist, manager, or consultant, this guy has initiated and run all types of projects in France, in Africa, and in America for more than 20 years, producing and supporting artists, entrepreneurs, and institutions in the culture and creative industries. Has led him to create several companies, including Origin in production, Bejika Consulting Agents, and African Culture Center. The production of major event it's in DNA, Midden Africa Forum, MOCA, Mama Event, the Africophonio Festival, and the Arts Award, Afro-Caribbean, cultural institutions such as the Grand Palais, the Grand Halle de whatever, I can't read French, have put their confidence in him. At institution level, he collaborated with UNESCO, the French Ministry of Culture, the French Institution of Paris, and its representation in Africa. This is gonna be really good. This is gonna be a really good conversation because I'll have a lot of questions for him about French. We see friends here. He has also produced 2 documentaries to promote the African diaspora's heritage in France. So this is the person that we can actually use to actually, you know what I'm saying? We always talk about friends here. Align initiated and produced MOCA, the movement of creative Africans to empower the ecosystem, to create opportunities for artists and entrepreneurs, and to promote African creativity. Through events, artists, and project management, the promotion of African new narratives on a global scale is driving force behind his approach. MIDEM, it means International Market of Music Publishers, MOCA, Movement of Creatives Africa. So the conference that they'll be having in Rwanda, man, is something really huge. It's something really big for Africans. And let me see the email now. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, Jonathan is here. Yeah, Jonathan, can you share, if you have the link of the event that is going to be happening in Rwanda, can you share in the comment section? I'll go through it. So I appreciate again, Jonathan, for connecting me with this MOCA. And tomorrow I'm going to have a conversation at 7 p.m. with the CEO and the founder of this stuff. So it will be the moment of being encouraged, being motivated. And you guys, you have also an opportunity to ask questions. So you see this live stream, it's already there. You can go read his biography, in the description. Prepare your questions. Whatever questions you have, prepare. And tomorrow, after the conversation, you can always ask your questions. You know what I'm saying? You have the chance to ask and to get to know, what is going on, what is up. Great. What a start of the week. Yes, I already told the rest of the hosts here in Swahili Nation, One Africa, that I'm coming for you. It's a competition. They have their own shows. I gave them freedom to invite anybody they want to have all type of conversation. They have that freedom. They have that freedom. So I'm doing my part. And one day is not enough for me, to be honest. So tomorrow I'm going to have another conversation, and have another one, and have all the time. So, yeah. Once again, guys, let me say this for those who want to support, for those who want to do whatever that you want to do, man, from now onward, we're using Nada, all right? I'm here to support my brother, all right? I'm here to support my African brother. I'm here to support a company that is initiated by African for the Africans. You always say, guys, One Africa we are creating a system by Africans for the Africans, something that is going to work for Africans. For us, by Africans. And when you find something that is actually created by an African, then you gotta support it. You can go ahead, guys. This is Nara. You can check it out. Like, you can see all the rates here and on their website. You can see that is quite cheap and quite quite affordable. So if you have a relative in the Tanzania, in Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, or Rwanda, they're going to Nigeria next month, and other countries, Ethiopia and other countries that will come within 5 years, all the 54 countries, as I mentioned earlier. This is the platform you can use, all right? You can use this. Let me show here again the website so that you may see it here. We're here to support our African brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? Built in Africa, built for Africa. Make secure and reliable payments from the UK and the US to Africa. Download and start transaction today. Nada. That's right there, guys. Right there. It's right there. Yeah, actually, even before this conversation, I was having this conversation with Benjamin here that, you know, there's one conference I'll be having very soon in, I think in 2 weeks. I'll share with you guys more details very soon. It's an incredible conversation, incredible conference. I've been invited to speak in that conference. It's gonna be amazing. It's something really huge. And so, you know, we were talking and all those stuff, and you know, and they were like, "Hey, wanna send to you like thank you notes, you know, for this." They're also our African brothers and sisters. And they're like, you know, tell us how can we do it. And I had to like take the picture of Nada and send it to them. I was like, "Hey guys, if you want to send anything, please use this one," because they're in the UK. I was like, use this one because this is the platform created by an African, and if there's any money that will be cut off, then it has to go to the African company. You know what I'm saying? Not to anybody else, but the African company. And I really appreciate that we have a platform like that, because now, you know, you don't have to use anything else but Nada. You know what I'm saying? So use it. Use Nada, guys. Fantastic. Yeah, it's so needed. And I'm gonna talk to Rich because I would love to connect, you know, Benjamin, you know, with Rich. He has been created Triangle for a long time, and I think, you know, something will come up, you know, when these two brilliant people meet up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So guys, use Nada. Let's support our people. Let's support Africa. Whatever it is, man, we are here for Africa. We're here to support Africa. We're here to promote Africa. We're here to bring Africa together. And that's the only thing that we're going to do now, to have our own platforms. Forget about MoneyGram. Forget about Western Union. Forget about that. Forget about Western Union. Why don't we call African Union? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. These guys, they're going to hate me. Yeah, they're going to hate me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Some of you might think that I've been paid by Nada. No, I'm not paid by Nada. This has just come from my just the heart of supporting Africa and support African platforms. So yeah, I don't receive anything, but it's something that I've downloaded it, and you know, hopefully, you know, something that you know we'll be using. Yeah, and it's an African, you know, and anything, if you know anyone, any creator, you connect me with them, and that's what we'll do. Today, guys, as I'm leaving, I'm not gonna leave you like this. Some of you maybe you've watched the video that I shared today, my fellow Africans. Maybe you have watched it. Some of you maybe you haven't watched it. Please go and watch it. But as I'm leaving, I will share with you guys that video. It's something you have to listen. I didn't even edit. I didn't do anything. I just share the way it is. You know, I film and I share. It's clear like that. You know, because I really wanted you guys to see it the way it is. You know, I didn't want to edit anything. So it's like that. I didn't cut anything. I didn't put anything. And you can just enjoy them. You really took the best day, Mika. I appreciate Marion. The challenge is on. The challenge is on, because I told my people that this is the challenge now. So I know they'll be coming for me too. So I'm setting the standard. You know what I'm saying? We have to set the standard high enough, like right there. And I love Ebenezer. He came here last Thursday. You know, he had his setting. Like, I gotta say the truth, man. The setting of Ebenezer right now is better than anybody else. Even me, it's better than the setting is better. So I'm thinking about doing something back there. It might take a little bit of time, but I'm thinking about doing something back there on the wall. So hopefully, you know, you guys, you'll see an amazing background there. Yeah. Let me read some of the comments here as well. I want to appreciate all the members in the house. All right. Jonathan is a great conversation. I'm enjoying your guest lately. I appreciate that, Jonathan. Appreciate my brother right there. I think you're going to enjoy tomorrow, 7 p.m. because you connected me with that. That was really good, Mika. Hopefully he can be a regular. Africans like him will inspire a lot of people. Exactly. Exactly, Sam. You know, I'm going to try my best to do that. Benjamin, he's a very busy guy. As right now, he was just saying, you can see like he's tired. You can see his face. and also he's catching a flight, leaving like right now, as I'm saying. So he's very busy guy. Have office in the UK, in the States, and all these countries. 5 countries in Africa, and they keep expanding. So you can only imagine like how busy he is. But yeah, hopefully we can get time, to have this more of this conversation. Yeah, that was really inspiring. I really enjoy. Yeah, and everybody is witnessing here is saying that. Yeah, so I appreciate guys for the sky is high now. Exactly. I appreciate you guys for the support, all the members. Marriott for the super chat, I appreciate. But from now on, Marriott, if you want to give that, you can use nada. You know what I'm saying? These guys, they, anyways, do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever you want to do. But this is beautiful. I really appreciate for the support and the love as well. And it's not the time to giving up right now. It's not. All right, guys. So I'm just going to share this video with you. And you guys, I want you to enjoy this video first of all. If you haven't watched this video, go and check it out. I want to share with you. I shared this yesterday, and it's very important. I was just out chilling at the beach, and I just had to film this video because a lot of time that's where I get ideas, just getting away from all the noises. And I was coming from church, so I went there, and I was just thinking. What I was thinking is, exactly, I was thinking that what we are fighting for and what we're doing right now is, sometimes you don't see the way. Sometimes you don't see the way out. You don't see hope. Like the more you fight, the more things are getting worse. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you're just punching something on the air. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not making any impact. Sometimes it feels like that. And so when I was thinking about that, I realized that, man, devil, get out of here, because that's what you want us to believe. And we're not going to believe that. I believe that change is happening, and change takes time. And we are fighting for our future, our next generation. I'm telling you, 10, 15, 20 years later, we'll have presidents who have been through the platform we're working on right now in Africa, and they'll bring about change because they understand the problem. And we are falling in love with the problem. I'm going to start using that, And so we can't stop now, because what we are doing right now is fighting for our future generation. And that's basically the whole conversation I was talking. So just hear me out and go check this video. And if you have any, how can I say, if you have any idea, if you have any different stuff that you want to share, you can always, share. You can always share in the comment section, and it'll be amazing. So I'm just going to play this video for you guys to see. And I'm not done yet. After this video is done, I'll be done too. Yeah, I uploaded a couple minutes ago. I just shared the link in the comment section. You can go and check it out. I'll be back after this video, but for now, I'll leave this video for you guys to listen. And for those who didn't watch, they can watch it right now. All right. Okay, let's do it.
All right, guys. This is my favorite spot these days because that helps me to get away from the other noises, and I just enjoy these noises. And also it helps me to focus, to think, to plan, to execute plans, to know what I'm gonna do next, to refresh my mind, and to just remind myself what kind of mission we do have and what we are fighting for. I'm just going to leave these noises so that you guys can enjoy the sound of this noise. For those who are not close to the ocean, then this can be a nice opportunity for you to enjoy the ocean. So I was just sitting right here for quite some time. Let me show you guys. For quite some time, right here. This is where I've been sitting, and I've been just thinking a lot. I've been looking at the ocean right there. This is the Indian Ocean, by the way. just sit here for some time, not really thinking about anything specific, but just opening up my mind and to see what kind of ideas are gonna come and what kind of things I'm gonna be thinking about. And so one thing I've been thinking about, and it's the mission we have, the vision we have. And you know, Wongel, she's doing an amazing job to bring the Swahili Nation Recap news every single week. And you know, every time I listen to those news, I have a privilege to edit before sharing with you guys. And every time I check them out, and some other news that I read by myself and I see here and there that's going on in our countries, in Africa, I realize one thing, that it's very easy to give up what we are fighting for if we think like, if we want to change right now, right away. Change is not coming overnight. Change will not come tomorrow. Simply because we're doing live stream every single day doesn't mean that change is going to come after 2 days. I know you guys know that, but sometimes we forget when we're fighting for these things, when we're fighting for one Africa, we're fighting for corruptions and everything that we are against. Sometimes it's very easy to forget that we are fighting for our generations, our kids. What we are fighting for right now is not for us, to be honest. We're fighting for one Africa, and I say one Africa in our generation, but the fruits of one Africa we are talking about, our kids and the next generation will enjoy that. So, you know, I was just listening to something today happening in one of the countries in Africa. And I was just thinking that, man, like, we're fighting so hard. You know, we want to meet youth so hard. We want to have all these forums, conferences, talking to people, eradicate, decolonize the mind, and do everything we can. We're doing everything we can, but there's always someone who is letting you down or letting us down. And in this case, you know, it's very easy to blame the governments and say that these guys are letting us down. But it's true that they're letting us down, most of them, but that is because of the system that has been created before they got here. No leader in Africa is doing a new thing, to be honest. The problems in Africa are still the same problem every single day. The problem that we've been struggling for 50 years ago is still struggling today, because the new regimes and new leaderships, they keep inherit the problems of the past. So no matter how much they want to bring about change, it's almost impossible, because they're still in the same system, under the same system. For instance, if you have the same political party ruling the country, any country in Africa, it's obvious that it's really hard for things to change, because you have the same system. And in that case, I would say, I'll give an example of my country, Tanzania. If things are going well or if things are going bad, like, it's really difficult to change if you have the same political party leading the countries, because it's the same system, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need someone who is awakened, someone who is determined, someone who is fearless, someone who don't play by the rules of the system to come and to change the entire system to bring about change, you know what I'm saying? But it's difficult if you have the same political party leading the country and you want to see the change in a different way. You're not going to see it because it's the same system, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I'm just saying this, that it's really difficult to see the change, unless if you have a totally, completely different political party leading the country, then it's easy for this party to create their own agendas and to create their own system, you know what I'm saying? But it's hard to expect different results by having the same system, you know what I'm saying? It's difficult, because whoever leader is going to come in your country is coming from the same system that has been leading the country for a couple of years, you know what I'm saying? So what am I trying to say? Am I trying to say that we should choose another political parties? That's not what I want to say. What I want to say is, what we are building right now, we're building something for the next generation. Yes, we'll see one Africa. I believe I'll see one Africa in my generation, but the results of what we are building today, the fruits of what we are fighting for today, we're not going to see it. Our kids and the next generation are going to see it. So if I choose to give up today because I don't see the change, because the government is disappointing me, because Africa is disappointing me, because this leader is disappointing me, that leader is... If I decided to change today and stop what I'm fighting for, it means that I'm deciding to let go, and I am bowing down to the fact that my next generation will go through the same issues we are having today. The same issues. We have got to put our lives on the line to fight for our next generations, to fight for our kids, to fight for these small kids. You see them, you know, dancing here and there all the time. We have got to give everything we got to fight for our kids. If you're diaspora, you're living outside of Africa, you wish one day to come back home. I'm telling you, your kids one day will move back to Africa, because the countries they're in right now, sooner or later they're gonna run away, because, you know, the system is not working for them. You know what I'm saying? Africans are coming back home, but what kind of environment are we creating for our kids? Before I have kids, I want to create a safe place, a safe space for them to live. I want to have a legacy, a place where my kids will carry on the legacy that I'm going to leave today. I want to leave that place before having kids. Okay, maybe you have kids already, but what do you do to create a safe space for your babies? As you're fighting for Africa, you're fighting for your kids. You're not fighting for yourself. Maybe you're about to die. Maybe your life is done. You know, you lived enough, but your kids are coming along the way. Are you willing to let your kids suffer, struggle in this world, feel like they don't have a home, whether they're living here in Africa or outside of Africa? Are you willing to let it go and stop fighting for one Africa, stop fighting for love, peace, and unity, and just to let your guards down like that? You're not letting anybody down, but you're letting your generations down. You're letting your kids down. I want us to think about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years to come, 200 years to come, because that's how other people plan. You know what I'm saying? If you think about 5 years, then you're going to give up, because you're going to be like, you know, in 5 years, I'm not going to be here anymore. In 5 years, I don't know where I'm going to be. But you got to think about 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 years to come. Our ancestors, they did everything they can to their level best for us to be in a freedom where we are right now. They did everything they can, and we had that freedom. But you know what? Where we are right now, we cannot blame anybody but us, because after we got our freedom and independence, we relaxed. We thought like everything is done. Thought like, okay, we're done. We have our independence. Now we start living. We forgot that after we kicked those colonizers outside of our countries, they didn't settle down. They didn't sleep. They were still planning and thinking, how are we going to recolonize these countries again? All right, we're not going to use the same system we used before, but we have to do something else. We have to drain their brain, all right? We have to give them loans. We have to control them. We have to make them feel like they cannot do anything without our help. Okay, we have to extend our help and showing them that we really regret about everything we've done in the past, and we are trying to make it up for them. So please accept what we're giving it to you. And we fell under that trap. We accepted it, and now we are in the position whereby we cannot live without asking for help. We cannot live without looking after help. We cannot live without them. It's our fault. And we, As a young generation, we see what is going on right now. We see what is happening right now. We see that this is the problem, right? As long as you see the problem, I always say this, as long as you see the problem, you have a solution. We have a solution. We have something to do today that will transform our countries and our continents for 100 years to come. I'm telling you, what you're doing today, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing for your grandkids. They will be talking that, okay, we have our granddaddy, he did A, B, C, D. That's what they'll be talking about later on. And so this is not even, okay, let me just say it's not a sacrifice, because some people, they don't want to sacrifice themselves. But I want to tell you this, that these guys is an opportunity, all right? It's an opportunity for you guys to fight for something worth fighting for, all right? You're fighting for your generations. You're fighting for your kids. You're fighting for your babies. You're fighting for your grandkids and everybody. That's what you're doing. So this is an opportunity. It's not just a fight of losing your life and everything. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. What you do today, you're fighting for your family. You're fighting for your land. You're fighting for your country. And you're fighting for your people, for your own people. That's what you do. You can't stop now fighting. The fight is not over. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. So it's my call to all Swahili Nation and One Africa people out there. If you have given up because you haven't seen a change and you expected to see a change in a short period of time, I want to tell you this. You're not going to see that in a short period of time. This is an investment. When you invest, you don't expect to get a profit just the next day. It might take some time, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to get the money that you deserve. It's just like, okay, let me talk about cryptocurrency. It's just like you who are investing in cryptocurrency. You know, people who are billionaires right now, they started to invest in cryptocurrency like in 2008. Some of us, we thought they were crazy. Investing in Bitcoin? You're crazy. 2008. But today, they're billionaires. But how long it took? Count the years. It's going to take a long time. The children of Israel, in order to go to Canaan, the land that God promised them, the promised land, it took them 40 years. 40 years, guys. And, you know, from Egypt to Canaan, it's not that long. But because God, he had to decolonize their mind. He had to train their mentality. He had to change them. He had to teach them how to be free people. Because sometimes you might be free, but you do not really feel free because you're still enslaved. You're still slave to your thoughts. Someone is still controlling your mind. And that's what happened in Africa. We have got independence, but someone is controlling our minds. Someone is out there control everything we do. So everything we do, we are doing for the master. I don't know what kind of master is it from your country, but for some reason, just 2 days ago, we released the news of a Chinese man who was beating like Rwanda's guy, and he went to prison for 20 years. Shout out to Rwanda, by the way, for that. But this is kind of system we are living in right now. It's a shame that we are independent. We claim to be independent. Still, this is how we are treated in our own countries. So I'm telling you this, not so you may hate, but I'm telling you this so that you may be awakened. So that you may be awakened. You may be awakened right now that we are investing on our futures. So the question is, are you willing to invest in your future? Are you willing to invest money, even though you know that I might die in 5 years, but I want to invest this for my future generation? Are you willing to do that? Because if you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to see change. And sadly, the change is going to delay. The longer it takes for you to take an action and to do something, that's how long it's going to take for us to see the change. If the change is going to take 20 years, we got to start doing right now. After 20 years, we'll see them. If we'll be alive, or our kids will experience that. But the longer we delay, the longer it's going to take for us to see the change. What we are fighting today, I believe, it's not going to change the government. Our government and the system they're ruling is just like that. We are preparing leaders of tomorrow. I hope that after 5 years, 10 years, we'll have leaders, young leaders who will be reasonable, coming to be presidents and prime minister and whatever, judges and the leaders of different communities, different universities, different schools, different houses, different companies. Those are people who will bring change because they will have our message, they will have our voices, they will have what we're sharing right now, and those people will bring change. But not right now, man. I'm telling you, forget about that. Forget about seeing the change right now, because people that we have right now, they are already under the system. And even if they want to see change, they cannot do anything because they are under the system. That system controls them to do what they do. We blame leaders, but I'm telling you this. Change your focus from leaders to the system. Blame the system, because I'm telling you, even you today, if you become a president today, you're going to still do the same thing because of the system that you are in. Maybe political party you are in. Maybe the foundation of those systems. Maybe it's the time for us to start creating new systems. Maybe it's the time for us to create new political parties that will be based in honest, in truth, in love, in peace, and in unity. Maybe it's time for us to do that right now, because that will be the new system. And that's why we have One Africa. It's a new system by Africans for the Africans. The only thing that is going to transform Africa is to have a new system. Is to have something completely new. Something completely new. Not the system that we already have. I'm telling you, it's already corrupt. No matter how good, how clean you are, and you want to bring about change, you're not going to be able to do that because you are in that system. And you cannot do it. Whatever you're going to try to do, no, the system is telling you to do what you have to do. If you go out of that system, I'm telling you, you're not going to live long. It's the time to build a new system. We have young people across Africa. They want to see change. They're tired of everything that's going on in Africa, in our countries. They're tired of that, guys. It's not a time to just go outside and try to protest right now. It's not a time for that. It's a time to sit down. It's a time to plan. It's a time to talk. It's a time to have conversation. It's a time to plan. It's a time to do that. It's a time to write down so that one day, when we stand up and we want to take over, I'm telling you, there'll be a new system. A new system run by fresh blood. Well, that's what I was thinking while I was sitting here. It's my favorite spot. I don't just sit one place. So today I'm here. Another day I'll go to another place, just chill. I think it's the beautiful time for me to get ideas and everything. Well, guys, I wanted to share with you guys this, and I hope I spoke to someone. It's a time to make change. They say, hashtag Proud African, be the change Africa needs. Be the change Africa deserves. Africa deserves the change. Africa is craving for the change. You know, these waves, the sound of waves, you know what they're telling me? They're telling me that we want to change. We want to change. All the time they're coming back and going back. We want to change. We want to change. That's what they want. That's what our kids want to see. I don't want to raise my kids in this world like this. I want to bring about change. I want to create a legacy, and I want to put my kids in this world because they will carry on the mission that I do have. Not by force, but because this mission that I do have, my dad, it was called a long time ago. One day I'll tell you the story why I'm doing what I'm doing. My dad was called a long time ago to do what I'm doing today. Long time ago when I was just at the age of 5. It was like 1998, if I'm not mistaken. I was just 5 years old, but I still remember that calling, how it happened. And my daddy was the one who was called, but I am doing something that my dad was told to do. So you never know. Maybe what you think you're gonna do today, your kids will carry on and will do it. So the best thing you can do is be faithful and work as hard as you can. Give everything you can to build the legacy, to create a new system that our kids will live in. And that's what we do. We're not going to see the change tomorrow, but we are creating new leaders for tomorrow. We are building new people for tomorrow and for the next generation. That's what we are doing, and that's what we should focus on. So you should never be disappointed. You should never be dismayed. If you see your government is not doing what it's supposed to do, if you see your government, your leaders are doing like some crappy thing, just know that the system is forcing them to do what they're doing. Unless we change the system, we're not going to see the change. And how are we changing the system? By creating new leaders today, by speaking the message today. That's how we raise new leaders. Because 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later, There's some people who run for president, and they will be affected by One Africa movement right now. So Hill Nation, One Africa, and I'm telling you, they will have what I'm saying right now, and they will bring about change because they'll come with a new system. And we're building the foundation right now. So, guys, I appreciate for those who support. Keep supporting and keep standing with us. Keep praying. There's a lot of things. You guys heard that I got an accident the other day. I was just parking my car somewhere, and somebody was drunk. He just hit me from the back. 1 minute I closed my eyes and opened. I found myself I'm in another place. I passed through all the motorbikes, and the car is completely destroyed. Right now the case is in the courts. I'm still waiting. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Sometimes it takes a long time, so I cannot drive that car right now. Hopefully one day God will provide a new one, but things like that can happen. Like, you can wake up in the morning and you don't know what's gonna happen. The next day you're dead. So what have you built for the next generation? What is your legacy? Are you fighting for yourself, or are you fighting for the generations to come? Are you fighting for, do you think about you, or do you think about the family you're going to leave? I want to challenge you to think a bigger picture. Obama once said that if you reach your goal, that means you didn't set them high enough. I want us to think of a bigger picture. One Africa is a big picture. Africa is a big picture. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right, guys, that's it. I wanted to leave you guys with that message. Again, I really appreciate for you guys sticking by here with me. I finished my session for today. Preach Mika, what a beautiful background. I miss the ocean. I appreciate my brother. Yeah. Come to Tanzania to see the ocean. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys for sticking by. If you haven't seen the interview, go back and listen to the conversation. And if you haven't watched that video, please go and share your thoughts into that video. I would really love to know what you guys are thinking after listening to what I just said. Go and share your thought in that video, and it'll help me to know where you guys are at. All in all, I appreciate Benjamin for joining me here today. Hopefully I'll have more conversation in the days to come. Join us tomorrow again. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'll have a conversation with another great African brother right here. And also after that, at 9 p.m. East African time, we'll have Tanzan with her session of Africa traditions. Please come. She'll be talking about African marriages tomorrow. And this is inspired. She said it is inspired by the video that I shared before of me and my mama. So you can go and check that out. I appreciate once again for those who are here. Appreciate for your consistency. Sam, I appreciate you. Your consistency, it means everything. I appreciate Mariette, Yanatan, Yosef, Nana Dreams, you're here. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for being. I really hope one day I'll have a conversation with you, Nana Dreams. I would love to hear you. My Ghanaian friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to have some Ghanaian, face talking here often, you know what I'm saying? I really want to have that with you. And Mariette, Antoinette, I appreciate you. Let me pray a little quick and I'll go to have dinner. God, I thank you for today. Thank you for the sessions that we had today. Thank you for the brother that I had conversation with, Benjamin, and thank you for everybody that has been listening to this conversation. I know that we've been inspired, we've been blessed, we've been motivated. I give you praise. Until tomorrow we meet again. Keep us safe. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. And with all being said, let me say this: Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. I hope you guys are going to have a good one. You've been fasting for a while now. So I know here, I think from tomorrow, they start celebrating tomorrow and the next day. So Eid Mubarak to everybody. I hope you guys will have a good celebration. And I hope you keep moving forward, and praying for One Africa as well. Yes, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. That will be it. Appreciate it, guys. See you.